I think so, yeah. And we'll plug your show for tomorrow.
Yeah, we can do that right at the end, though. Why's that funny?
Just like... I'll tell you what.
You still hold out for that spot on the show. You might get lucky.
Like that.
Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rebel News live stream on this, Friday, December 4th, 2020. And look who it is. It's not Ezra Levant. The big boss man is busy working on a story. And what a story. I'm not even going to tease it, but it's going to be a whopper. It's going to be a blockbuster, a curtain dropper, a showstopper, and all that other stuff. You just wait, folks. So in Ezra's place is myself, David Menzies, and Andrew, Andrew Chapados.
That is my name.
Well, I sometimes get it confused with your alias, a.k.a. High Energy Andrew Says. And Andrew, thank you so much for helping me out today. And for those who don't know how the live stream works, usually I'm here with the lovely Sheila, the she-devil gun Reed. But I guess I'm being a little promiscuous today, folks. I've got a new co-host, and that is Andrew. And this now you have to be the Sheila part of the duo and tell the folks what it is that we are trying to achieve here, Andrew.
Well, in order to be the proper Sheila, it means we have to get lots of super chats, like she always does.
Yes.
But a super chat is when you pay a small amount of money to get your message over to us. It'll show up on the screen, and it'll show up in our mouths as we say it out loud.
Yes.
So questions, comments, anything you want to say to us, an insult for David Menzies references, anything you want. And for the rest of the stream, we'll be going over our recent stories and stories in the news, whether or not David will survive till the end of the live stream, stuff like that, David. And I'm wearing my lawyer outfit today. Shout out to Aaron Rosenberg.
Oh, and I'll tell you this, folks, as Andrew said, if you want to insult me, hey, bring it on. As long as you're paying for the insult, I couldn't be happier. And I got to tell you, after 2020, and there's still another 3.5 weeks to go, I suppose, believe me, folks, this skin is now Godzilla thick. It can repel Exocet missiles. So as Pat Benatar used to say, hit me with your best shot. But I really do value compliments over insults. But if you feel like you want to insult me, as long as you're paying the piper, just bring it on. And speaking of paying the piper, let's get to our first story. I had a fantastic meeting, folks, out in Bolton, Ontario. Bolton is part of Peel Region. Peel Region is in the gray zone. For some reason, the gray zone is, we've gone from, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, Andrew, and I guess Premier Ford bought a pack of Crayola COVID crayons, and it's now colors. And you would think that, to me, the red zone would be the worst zone, but that's the second worst zone. And I guess if I had to choose another zone beyond red, I think it would be black, black male, black ball. We associate that, but maybe, in this day and age, we can't use black in a pejorative sense. So we had to go to gray, but gray is like, it's kind of funny. See, there we have green, yellow, orange, red, gray. Gray doesn't strike me as an ominous color, Andrew. In fact, when you say shades of gray, it's kind of like, a bit of this, a bit of that, right? Why do you think they pick gray, of all things? Because, red to me, red means stop, red alert, red flag. Shouldn't that be the worst color?
No hope, no color allowed, dystopia, be sad, stay indoors. And I would have thought there would be those smelly markers, the ones that smell like chocolate and berries that Doug Ford would be using. My friends, I've been smelling markers all day. And then let's pass it off to Health Officer X that you didn't vote for to tell you why you suck.
Oh, well, there's plenty of blame to go around in terms of the way this economy has brutalized, and much of it does rest at the Premier's table when he's not baking cherry cheesecake, that is. But without further ado, I mentioned crayons. If you want to buy a pack of crayons, or you want to buy some trading cards, or some incredible fantastic, unique merchandise when it comes to toys and collectibles. I can't advocate Noble Toys more than, I mean, that is the ultimate place to go, I think, in all of Peel region. And here's the story, folks. The owner of Noble Toys, he's not allowed to sell his toys. Of course, the big box stores can. So he's a rebel. I mean, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, Andrew, calling Derek Noble a rebel. And what rebellious act did he do? He opened his toy store before Christmas. What's your take on this? And then we'll roll some video.
It's just like our Fight the Fines from months ago, which is still going on, by the way, but I'm just thinking of the characters who would not normally be Rebel News fans and maybe were suspicious at the beginning, and then all of a sudden they realize how many people have been forced to be under the same umbrella now just for doing something like selling toys. Yeah. So maybe this guy, I don't know, maybe he was a fan of us before, but who would have thought that a toy store merchant, so just a guy trying to get by, is going to turn into a rebel now, breaking the laws of the gray zone. He's trying to bring color into the gray zone, David.
Yeah, he is. And instead, he got some color in the form of yellow summonses. He declined to say how much he was fined. But let's take a look at this hardened criminal, surely a Hell's Angels wannabe, for just having the temerity, folks, of opening his toy store before Christmas. Check it out.
I just said it to a friend just out of the blue. I'm just like, I'm going to open my doors. Typical Canadian. Hey, I'm going to open my doors, eh? Like, that's it. That's all it was. Like, screw this. Let's do it.
Well, the other day I was shopping at Walmart with my wife, and I'm looking around, and I see like 200, 300 people in here. And I said to her, can we give them our money and buy toys for our kids this year here? Because, like, these businesses here, which I heard from Madison BBQ, they're closing, and they're struggling this year. And honestly, it's not right what's going on, and it has to stop.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Bolton, Ontario. And folks, what would Christmas Day be like for millions of kids the world over if there weren't some toys sitting for them under the Christmas tree on Christmas Day? But as we know, this is 2020, and there are bureaucrats and politicians the world over who have turned into modern-day Grinches. They are selectively closing certain retailers, such as this fantastic toy store in Bolton, Noble Toys. But the owner of Noble Toys, Derek Noble, well, he's fighting back. He is no longer bending the knee like other entrepreneurs here and there. Derek has decided that, hell, he's going to open his toy store in the weeks leading up to Christmas. And also, like some other entrepreneurs in Canada, he has suffered the consequences via bylaw enforcement. And Derek Noble joins me now. Derek, first of all, fantastic toy shop. I'm so distracted. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to your merchandise. But tell me, last Saturday, you decided enough is enough. You decided to open. Why did you open in contravention of the law?
Because basically it's unfair. How can they shut us down? And I've used this time and time again. How can they shut us down right before Christmas when we do 50% of our sales? And all the other local... this was supposed to be just some little thing just inside my town where, hey, you know what? Let's all open up. Let's get this place open. I'll lead the way. You guys follow me. Let's open up and tell these guys, hey, you can't do this. Like, why is Bolton and Caledon a part of Peel when we're only 3% of the cases? And small shops are safe as can be. Like, why are you guys doing this to us right at this time of the year?
So Peel Region, City of Toronto is in the gray zone. But the thing is, even here in Peel Region, in the gray zone, Derek, as you know, we can do a short drive and we can hit a Walmart. We can hit a Costco. The ostensible reason...
That's a good video, David.
Oh, thank you so much, Andrew. And my heart breaks for him. By the way, folks, we did offer to have Derek Noble... we offered our I Will Open portal to him in which we would crowdfund his legal fees. He politely declined. Has nothing to do with rebel derangement syndrome. In fact, he's a super fan. He just discovered us recently, absolutely, after our Adamson BBQ reports. He absolutely loves the channel. He also had people last Saturday. He had one lady, she tried to put a stack of $100 bills in his palm for his legal fees. He refused that too. And he is in debt. This is no Richie Rich here, but he's not trying to make this a political statement. He just wants to have the ability to operate his shop. He doesn't want, I guess, charity, for lack of a better word. That's his decision. I told him if he changes his mind, we're there in a heartbeat. We will crowdfund thousands to get him the best criminal lawyer we can get. So many things, Andrew. First of all, where Noble Toys is located, it's Bolton, which is just in Peel region, but just a few kilometers away from York region, which is in the red zone, which means that if not for a few kilometers eastward, he'd be in business legally. Doesn't make sense. Secondly, that's a 3,000 square foot shop, folks. And
Wow.
You can see by the signage, Andrew, in his window, mask up, hand sanitizer. You're limited to so many people in the store at one time. My argument, Andrew, because I've seen the Costco's, I've seen the Walmarts of the world, they're jammed to the gills. There is no social distancing going on. Clearly, there isn't. When you line up to check out your merchandise, it's not happening. The point I'm trying to make is that we have our elected officials, including Premier Ontario Open for Business Doug Ford, saying that he's basing his decisions on medical advice. He's basing his decisions on the science. My point, Andrew, is that this is a far more easy to control zone, a small mom pa 3,000 square foot store, than you would see at a big box store. Yet Walmart's toy department, it's open. Costco's toy department, it's open. But Mr. Noble, he gets a visit from law enforcement and presumably has several hundred or maybe even several thousand in fines. He didn't want to give the amount. What's your take?
Well, if you're going to spend all this money on bylaw officers going out and harassing people and loans to these businesses, why not employ these bylaw officers to go business to business? Maybe they can apply online or something and go check out the facility and see, okay, this is how many people you should be able to have based on your size. Please make sure you have the signage and sanitization there, and give them some leeway so it's just not like, oh, you have 1 foot too few, so you can't have this many people. How about some courtesy, some humanitarianism, instead of just being like, oh no, you're open, we're gonna have to shut you down because you're in the dreaded gray zone.
And you raise a good point about shutting the store down. Just last week, folks, I live in Richmond Hill, the Richmond Hill Costco, just a few clicks away from my house, 6 confirmed COVID cases. Well, you know what? I drove by it today on the way to the office. It's business as usual. I would say, Andrew, that if that were not a Costco, if that was a small retailer that was allowed to operate within the rules and there were 6 cases, I bet you it would be shut down and there would be fines given out. Again, can you possibly explain why the multi-billion-dollar international conglomerates have one set of rules and the domestic mom-pa little guys have another set of rules?
At this point, you would have to believe that there's some sort of benefit in it for the politicians, whether it's donors down the line somewhere, or favors that we can't see. I mean, when you look at the alleged things about Joe and Hunter Biden, you see that it's kind of easy to go years and years and years to funnel money to people through different means. So you have to start to wonder, either you have to go to the conspiracy side and it's a whole global conspiracy of the global reset thing, or it's just people being crooked and helping out these big box chains that are huge donors. I mean, what's her name? Melissa Lantsman there.
Yes.
And I don't have a lot of experience with her. When I did see her before on television, on TVO, let's take a second for that, Steve Paikin, or Palkin, what is it?
Steve Paikin.
Oh, I can't stand him. Oh, I can't stand him. He's just basically an NDP advocate. And when I saw her he's just a collateral damage in this conversation. When I saw her on his show, I liked what she had to say. But now she's going out and advocating for Walmart, and so it's not a good look. I guess she technically doesn't work for Doug Ford, but the writing's on the wall here, and you can kind of see what's going on.
But that is very important. Melissa Lantsman did work in the war room of Doug Ford in the 2018 election campaign, as well as a colleague whose name escapes me. But the two of them did sign up as I guess consultants or lobbyists for Walmart to have meetings with the current government, i.e. the guy she got elected, presumably, I'm speculating, to make sure that when the gravy train is laid out in terms of who gets to open for business, Walmart gets to get the green light as opposed to Noble Toys that gets the red light. And I guess Melissa Lantsman, she did supremely well. And by the way, this is a so-called conservative. She is running for
Nice hair,
the
though.
riding of Thornhill. So this is, folks, your lockdown candidate, lockdown Lantsman. If you live in the riding of Thornhill, and you love lockdowns, this is your Khaleesi right there. That's who you vote for. That's your Walmart-approved lockdown candidate. And geez, I'm telling you, that kind of brand of conservatism, that's garbage. That's not my bag. I wouldn't be voting for her based on what we're seeing now, Andrew.
Well, she's got some good Brazilian soccer player hair, I'll give her that. But let me be clear in my opinion. I don't blame Walmart for wanting to stay open.
No.
But it's a terrible look when the person who used to work for Doug Ford is helping Walmart stay open with Doug Ford in the face of all these other places being shut down. So I don't think any of them should be shut down. Costco, who's being terrible people to their customers who don't want to wear masks or can't wear masks, I should say. Now we're deciding whose human rights get warranted. I don't have a problem with them wanting to stay open. They should want to stay open. They're
100%.
capitalists.
Yeah.
But this is just a terrible look, and to do it on the back of a campaign, I wonder where she's getting money for her campaign from, David Menzies.
Yeah, and you know, folks, anyone that says, hey, Menzoid, how do you like your free market economy now with all this suffering? But that's the point. This is not a free market economy. This is the government coming in and picking and choosing.
It's basically China.
Basically, yeah, saying you can open, you can't. And let's look at the ostensible policy reason why the likes of Costco and Walmart can open. It's because they sell groceries. And groceries, of course, are essential. You have to eat. But they, by the same token, they do not close down the other sections of the store. Premier Ford was asked about this, why that isn't the case. He said it would be a logistical nightmare. I'm sorry, Premier. Costco and Walmart are all about logistics. If they wanted to shut down those non-essential services, they could. And here's where I come from, Andrew. If you had Andrew's boutique, if you had Andrew's shoe store, Andrew's florist, I think you'd make a great florist.
More of an Al Bundy shoe salesman.
You can't sell your suits, your shoes, your flowers, but Walmart can, even though it's deemed non-essential. And here's my theory for the likes of Derek Noble of Noble Toys. Go down the road to our friends at Albion Orchards. Remember that guy, folks? We ran a story on him. Evidently, him having people pick their own apples in a orchard of several hundred acres was a Wuhan virus risk, whereas, again, the Walmart just down the road from the orchards was completely fine. I would say go to Albion Orchards, buy a couple of bushels of apples, and put them on the counter. Apples, 5 cents each. I'm a grocery store now. Oh, by the way, I'm a grocery store that sells toys. So there you have it on the screen. What a beautiful orchard that was. So while you're in and you pick up an apple for a nickel, feel free to shop for toys. That's what Walmart's doing, isn't it?
I actually received an email from a bong shop in Winnipeg who is now selling cereal to get around this.
No kidding. Wow.
I don't want to out them, but I don't remember the name.
So someone's already picked up that as an idea. Well, I'm going to do a Barry Horowitz pat on the back for getting that ball rolling.
Lucky Charms and tricks. Smart guy. I know people probably might not want to promote that sort of thing, but too bad it's legal. We got a lot of super chats here, David, and then we can get to the barbecue update.
Oh, yes.
And then some voter fraud. How about that?
Oh, wonderful.
Timothy Powell gives £50, 50 quid, if you will.
Wow, thank you.
I don't think there is a message. I think Efron he put a funny gif there. So whatever that was, I got a thumbs up from that. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Laird Kintyre, odd how conservatives are now freedom fighters today while libs and leftists beg for more COVID restrictions. I think people just get trapped, David, in the social media world where they're told things that are virtuous, and even right down to masks and lockdowns. If they think that this is what the good people are doing and that's the good thing you're supposed to do, they're going to do it.
You know, that comment triggers a thought, Andrew, and it's this. If you look at the leftists, they're all about being against big multinational conglomerates, the likes of Walmart and Costco. And yet these are typically the same people that are the COVID Karens of the world. Stay at home. If you have to leave, wear your mask. If you have to shop, do it by yourself at a Walmart or Costco. The very stores, the very chains and companies and corporations that prior to this virus they were campaigning against. Does this make any sense to you?
They're also the same people who usually hate Doug Ford and Donald Trump, and then they're just slapping their seal fins at everything. Oh, you're doing such a great job, Doug Ford, by closing everything down.
Yeah, well, Doug Ford has, gone off the reservation, so to speak. Doug Ford 2020 ain't Doug Ford Classic, folks. And I'd like to see Doug Ford Classic get back in office as opposed. I mean, it's shameful. We can't get a question through at his pressers, folks. And yet the mainstream media are there. The same media types, the CBC and especially the Toronto Star, that just a few years ago he publicly vilified for what the media mob did to his brother, the late, great Rob
Toronto
Ford.
Star being the worst.
The worst. And now it's like, Robert Benzie, Toronto Star. How are you, Robert?
How are you?
Can I get you a muffin or some cherry cheesecake? I can't believe my ears when I hear these pressers. And by the way, there's a presser coming up after the live stream goes off the air, folks. Be aware if you do live in York Region, Ontario, the rumor is that Premier Cheesecake is going to put York Region, where I live, into the gray zone, which is the worst zone. And I hope that rumor doesn't come to fruition, but that's the buzz. And again, Andrew, what a death blow to the merchants and restaurants of York Region just before Christmas. This Ford, he ain't no Santa Claus. He's more like a Grinch to me.
How long can he pretend to actually know what he's doing? That's my question.
I agree.
Georgie, good name. David and Andrew together looks like a Coach's Corner segment. Good job, David, with the Toy Store story. Where did you get that hat, by the way? Probably from an ivory dealer.
No, I think it was a gift, actually, and the reason why I got it was I once, there was a CBC reporter at a Yahoo Nation protest, folks. This was the origin story of the hat. This is kind of like Peter Parker reminiscing of how he got to become Spider-Man. He was bitten by a radioactive spider, which is why I love comics. He gets superpowers, but Andrew, if you or I were bitten by a radioactive spider, we'd get cancer and die a painful death.
I don't think you have to remind people how Spider-Man became Spider-Man.
So
Did you know that Superman came from a different planet?
That's right. And but the origin story is that the CBC reporter who was trying to interview back in the days when I had my microphone on a hockey stick, so I was doing the social distancing, she kept walking backwards, and I got concerned for her safety because she was walking onto Queen's Park Crescent. She was walking off the traffic island into live traffic, and I don't want to see this lady hurt. And I said, what's happening? What are you doing? And she said, I'm scared. And I said, what are you scared about? And she said, your hair. That's what she said. Because at the time, I hadn't been to the barber in months like so many other people.
That's such a stupid thing to say, though.
I know. So she shamed me. She body shamed me, folks. And I said, I don't want any more CBC reporters scared by my hair. So I went out and got this hat. So there's the story.
What a not nice lady. Joey Bandar says, Better Call David, like a real-life version of Better Call Saul.
Oh, Better Call. So we've gone from Coach's Corner to Better Call Saul. I've heard that Better Call Saul comparison. That's the spinoff, of course, from
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. And by the way, for the previous Super Chatter who compared us to Coach's Corner, who is Ron McClane and who's Don Cherry? Please let me be the Don Cherry character.
I think that's how it would have to be, unfortunately. I usually get David Duchovny.
Oh, wow.
Or John Tavares. Martin, you've been here when it's happened.
You're right. I'm just laughing. It just struck me. You kind of do look like John Tavares, and let's hopefully, going forward, you don't perform like John Tavares, because never have so many millions been paid for a Toronto Maple Leaf, and so little production has resulted.
Leave him alone, all right? You want another Phil Kessel situation where he just hates us? All right?
Folks.
All right, let's stop there.
It's been over half a century. I just want to see the Leafs win a cup in my lifetime. I don't think it's going to happen. Anyways, go ahead.
Martin Sabel, love Dave's tie, as I got one myself.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Doug must sleep quite well knowing Walmart is paying lobbyists. I wonder if we get shops real estate. Basically, he's wondering if the real estate places get shut down.
Oh, you know what? It's funny how they've fallen off the radar, haven't they? And let's not let that happen. We should maybe pay another visit to that, not the charity folks. I call we a real estate development company. Let's see how their condo office tower master plan is coming along at the corner of Queen and Parliament.
What gives? Wait, that was what he said at the end there. $25 from, oh no, this is the guy's name. What gives, I think. $25, which is a large donation. Thank you. I've boycotted Walmart ever since I discovered that they would take $1 million life insurance policies on their senior door greeters.
What?
Can't remember if Hillary was on the BOD at that point. Citation needed, but I'm willing to read it.
Is that true? Do you think that's true?
Probably not.
Sounds like a future Forensic Files episode.
Viking Insane, who we recognize. CBC is every bit as rotten as the Trudeau Liberals. Well, they need to stand up for something. They're just standing there and they're doing... The Republicans sort of did this thing at the beginning of 2020 and 2019 where they just let the Democrats dig their own grave, but there wasn't anything to fight against, really. It was just them looking stupid. There's something for the Conservatives to fight against here, and they don't want to do anything because, I don't know, because they're scared.
Let's cut to the chase, Andrew.
Let's cut to it, David.
The Trudeau Liberals and the CBC, as that old ad slogan used to go, can you tell the difference, folks? I can't tell the difference.
Dr. Phi, $10. At this point, I'm starting to wonder if the pro-lockdown politicians are purposely being malicious to small businesses or if it's just ignorance of the info being fed to them. I think that they don't read the numbers at all. The doctors just come in, and if you know anybody in the medical field, they are sort of a monolith because they're experts. It's their time to shine, except for the people who are whistleblowers, of course. They come out, but they have their unions. They're going to say what they need to say to continue getting funding. The unions from A are no better than unions from B. So I think that the politicians, and especially in Doug Ford and Christine Elliott's cases, they get told whatever. They say it's dangerous. Oh, we have no choice but to listen to them. I can't be looking at these things myself. We're just going to stay locked down forever as long as the medical practitioners. And the idea, just like teachers, you have to come to this revelation on your own. Just like teachers, the medical unions and the medical officers, they're not infallible to politicized pressure. They're not infallible to bias. They are going to say what they want to say. They do have political leanings, whether you believe it or not. Hospitals in Ontario fired a whole bunch of nurses because their hospitals were basically empty. Yep. Doug Ford gave them money to hire those people back up. And, it's funny, Andrew, the prime directive of the teachers right now, and I'm not kidding, their unions are running radio ads, they're running full-page newspaper ads, admonishing the Premier to close the schools, even though we know that children are virtually invulnerable to the Wuhan virus. I believe in Ontario, 1 death under 20, and that person, unfortunately, had medical complications such as leukemia. So it really is a complete anomaly. And this brings to mind the biggest lie of 2020, one that has knocked off the former greatest lie of all time, which is the check is in the mail. And that is, we are all in this together. Who in the public sector, Andrew, has been laid off? Who has taken a pay cut? No, it's business as usual. And the teachers' unions are basically telling the Premier, close the schools down, so that our members can go and sit at home and get their paycheck. Because believe me, when the schools get closed down, that doesn't mean
the teachers aren't getting paid. They're still getting their full meal deal. What a disgrace.
It just so happens, David, that the requests from the teachers' unions during the lockdowns are the same ones that they had before the lockdowns.
Oh, yeah.
During the negotiations. Oh, we need half the amount. We need more online learning. So they just want to hire more teachers. And you can't blame the unions because their job is to get their people more money, but you certainly can blame the people who support them and act as if that you can't question this. If this is what the teachers want, then they must get it. They're perfect people.
Yeah.
They're educating our children with stupid liberal policies. How can you say something against that?
But Andrew, in fairness, we have to say what the ostensible policy reason is for salary increases, benefits, pensions, lower class size. It's for the kids.
Cutting our raises from 2% to 1% is insane. All right, we're going to keep ranting here if we don't put on a video. Barbecue update, Adamson.
Yes.
As we all know, judging by all the conspiracies, it was all fake that we did ourselves. None of it is real, everybody. I was there. He's actually a lizard person. When he looks like at the camera at Lincoln, he's not looking at Lincoln. He was actually signaling to the Illuminati. These are all the theories that I've heard based on numerology. So let's go ahead and...
Before you do, I just got to say, I've never seen you without your glasses on.
That's not true. What's this joke?
You look
you're about to
totally
say?
different. No, the thing is, I never used to understand how Clark Kent could could avoid being confused with Superman just by putting on a pair of glasses. It's true. This guy looks like a completely different person. It's like he takes off his glasses and it's like, Kent, where'd you go? Superman, where'd you come from? But I digress.
There was a phone booth. I'd be changing in it.
What's that?
What's the? We got that ready, Efron? Thanks.
Okay.
Let's roll. I think it's day 8.
Yep.
The truth. We're here to respect the truth, honor the truth, spread the truth, and we're tired of all this lies, and mass deception coming down from the government. We're tired of it, and we're here to say no. We're going to stand up for our freedom.
This government is lying to you. They are absolutely lying to you. This is an attack on our economy. It's an attack on our small businesses, and the only way it's going to end is when you people get the nerve to stand the hell up.
What brings you to this, I guess, barbecue protest?
I came here to stand up for my rights, God-given freedom. I also came here to, unite with people who are like-minded.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Toronto. Well, folks, I'm back at the so-called scene of the crime. Yes, Adamson Barbecue here in West End, Toronto. And what's happened today? Well, an impromptu barbecue, much like Friday, has broken out. These are Adam Skelly's supporters. They don't like what happened last week. And I got to tell you something, folks. You know, my favorite Yiddish word is chutzpah. It basically means sheer, unmitigated gall. And on the way down here, I was listening to Mayor John Tory's Daily Presser. And the first thing he was talking about, he was promoting Takeout Wednesday. Yes, the mayor wants Torontonians to go to their little mom-pa businesses every Wednesday to make a statement to help them stay afloat during this pandemic. And he said, quote, "Our major focus is to help save jobs and businesses." Can you believe it? This is coming from the same mayor who sent in all the king's horses and all the king's men just a week ago. Let's roll some footage, folks. Let's see if you think what happened last Thursday was about saving a business and the jobs that went with it. Check it out.
Shame on these police. Look at what they've started now. You're a hero, Adam. I love you guys. Move back.
Yeah, that wasn't Takeout Wednesday, was it? It was more like taking out a problem, and I think that was clear intimidation tactics by Mayor John Tory and, of course, the medical health officer, Eileen Davila. This was the authorities at City Hall sending a clear and distinct message to any other restaurateur who was daring to think about opening up. that if you choose to follow Adam Skelly in the Great Canadian Barbecue Rebellion, well, how do you like the mounted unit coming to your door? How do you like being hauled off in handcuffs into a police cruiser and spending a night in the cooler? And you know what? Maybe the mayor has won. Maybe Davila has won, because there is definitely a lack of critical mass of Torontonian businesses opening up, and I can't say I blame them if that's the kind of reaction you're going to have. Anyways, we'll talk to some of the people here and see what they have to say about this once great restaurant now shuttered. What brings you out to this barbecue protest today?
Freedom. We're here to defend the truth. We're here to respect the truth, honor the truth, spread the truth, and we're tired of all this lies, and mass deception coming down from the government. We're tired of it, and we're here to say no. We're going to stand up for our freedom, for ourselves, to honor our ancestors, and for the future and preservation and betterment of humanity, the children. That's why we're here.
The government tells us that we can't have gatherings. They shut down all the public places to gather, like restaurants, bars, all that kind of stuff, family-run businesses. So we're showing the government that we're going to do it regardless. They can take away their fence, they can put the fences in, they can move them a step back, but we're still going to be out here having a barbecue and having a good time.
This government is lying to you. They are absolutely lying to you. This is an attack on our economy. It's an attack on our small businesses. And the only way it's going to end is when you people get the nerve to stand the hell up.
What brings you to this, I guess, barbecue protest?
I came here to stand up for my rights, God-given freedom. I also came here to, unite with people who are like-minded.
The police, I know the orders come from the top.
Police are allowed to use the inside of the facility to have lunch and probably go to the bathroom too, as you mentioned in there. I like the guy. I don't know who he is or anything about him really, but in the Jurassic Park hoodie, I met him when he was cutting a sweet promo at day 3. Yeah. I really like that guy. And shout out to Future Man I saw in the background there from Base Media. He was the guy who rescued Keane Bexty when his microphone got broken in Ottawa. He's Future Man. He came from the future in his car to save Keane Bexty.
Unbelievable.
He decided to stick around to change the world, David.
But Andrew, what do you make of that? There's John Tory. The day I'm driving down, I'm listening to his live presser on radio, folks, and the first thing off the hopper is him promoting Takeout Wednesday, not to be confused with Mayor Tory's Takeout Thursday, as in we're going to take out the guy who's sitting people down. And again, a few hundred, not kilometers, meters down the road on Queen Elizabeth Way, what do you have? You have a Costco, and yes, the food service counter, the grill is on.
And no frills.
Unbelievable.
And No Frills is wide open right there too. That's the parking lot I parked in.
Well, yeah.
No Frills, and I walked over. It's ridiculous. And then to the people who think that, why can't they just do takeout? Sit-in restaurants can't survive on takeout, or else they would. They would just not hire servers, hostess, bussers, bartenders. It'd be much easier if you could just survive on takeout only. That's not how it works, though. It's not why you open a dine-in restaurant.
Last month, I spoke with an Ottawa steakhouse co-owner who was this close to going into I will open, but his partners didn't want to go that route. But his case, folks, this is a steakhouse, with takeout and delivery, that reduced their revenues by 92%. He told me he's selling his pickup truck and buying a used minivan. Their house is up for sale, and his pregnant wife has now gone back into the workforce to try to earn funds. This is the human cost. This is the tragedy of shutting down the economy for so many months. And I'm telling you, we're told by our elected officials and our bureaucrats that they are beholden to the science, they are beholden to the medical advice, but even the World Health Organization, of which I am no fan, folks, but I guess it proves the adage, Andrew, even a broken clock is correct twice a day. They said several weeks ago that locking down the economy is not the way to go in terms of flattening the curve. So if the august World Health Organization is saying that, who is giving the advice to these elected officials that they seem beholden to enforce?
Probably Theresa Tam. I mean, the CDC has lessened the 14-day suggestion that they've had. And then we have the statistics for Ontario now about cases from restaurants and from retail. And it's just cases. Retail's like 106 and restaurants like 200. Gyms are like 200. And that's just cases. That's not even ICUs or deaths. Yeah. So it's completely ridiculous to suggest that they're following the science. I don't know who these people are, even though they are thinning in numbers of their support for their lockdowns, especially if you look at the responses to Doug Ford's press conferences every day. But still, to say that when he says yesterday, I'm just following the science, I have to follow the health advice. You're not, though. So unless your doctors just aren't paying attention to their own statistics, you're not, though, and they don't have to face any tough questions. The hardest person on them is probably your friend, Brian Lilly.
Well, I don't know if he's my friend.
Oh, I don't know. You just know everybody. That's why I'm assuming.
But sometimes people confuse me with Brian Lilly.
David Menzies' friend, Justin Trudeau. But I'm saying they still won't hammer him on questions. Why are they so cowardly that they can't hammer him on questions? They're just afraid that they won't be let back into the party. Nobody can say, Doug Ford, the numbers are this, this, and this. How can you justify this? And he says, well, I'm just doing this, my friends. And then here's the doctor, Christine Elliott. And how come nobody says, how come we have to listen to these people nobody elected? How come we can't bring up these numbers that just came out? How come there's so many things you can just hammer him on, and people just want to sit there and be friends with them.
And Andrew, some of these people that haven't been elected that are giving advice and dishing out criticism are the rank and file of the media party. I mean, during the Adamson Barbie, oh, of course not. But the point I'm just trying to get to, Andrew, is that when I was listening to talk radio during the week of the Great Canadian Barbecue Rebellion that was snuffed out last Thursday, the media types were just chiming in. Come on, he's been open 2 days already. He's been what's wrong with you? What's wrong? Not standing up for the little guy. It was an absolute disgrace. It's like they were the COVID Karens out there admonishing the government into action. And I think the jump the shark media moment surely came in an article a few days ago from the Huffington Post, Andrew, where the writer said that Adam Skelly is, what we saw there last, folks, was him benefiting from white privilege. Her point, folks, was that if he were, and these were her words, a black or brown restaurateur. By the way, she capitalizes black but not brown. So
unbelievable.
I think my Hindu friends are really upset about that. Anyways, she's saying if he was a visible minority, he would have been shut down in hour one of day one instead of being allowed to operate for 3 days.
Okay.
We know that, for example, Afro-Indigenous Rising, that group of thugs we covered
Your
last
best
June.
friends. You guys, you're a revolving
Oh, we have a
door,
groovy kind of love. Not 3 days were they tolerated. 3 weeks of breaking 11 sections of the Trespass Act. In February, we saw rail lines shut down by climate justice warriors and those claiming to be Indigenous, costing the Canadian economy hundreds of millions of dollars every day. That was tolerated for weeks as well. If Adam Skelly, as this writer said, I've forgotten her name, and who, there it is. Thanks, Efren, you put the name back into my head now. Anyways, thank God it's too small for me to read. If this is an example, folks.
Maya Kapler?
Yes. If this is an example of white privilege, i.e. the mounted unit shows up at your restaurant and you're handcuffed, arrested, and hauled away in a police cruiser to spend a night in the cooler, if that's white privilege, Andrew, I'd sure as hell hate to see white prejudice.
Click on her name, Efron. Let's see what her other titles are. Her other articles. Princess Diana's brother just bought a home in Canada. The Queen isn't a fan of Prince George's favorite food. Carly Rae Jepsen's new video is an ode to Christmas gone wrong. I'm starting to sound like Ben Bankus. You can soon buy a candle that smells like Drake's musk. A great journalist, David. That's what we're
I'll tell
dealing
you,
with
that's
here.
really hard-hitting stuff. You know, and maybe she would get a better understanding of so-called white privilege if she were to get her ricotta cheese candy ass out to Addison Barbecue and actually witness firsthand what went down.
Don't mention the fact that tons of the people there are black and brown and Eastern.
Yes.
A ton of Eastern Europeans from former Yugoslavia who don't like seeing this sort of stuff.
Exactly.
A ton of them. Let's get to more super chats here. Viking Insane says, ugh, Ron Judas McLean is such a disgrace. Martin Sable says, hi, I meant if all the shops being ruined by Ford, if it just happens to be bought by by accidentally for low price. That's a theory people have, is that they're trying to shut things down in big cities so they can buy out the properties. Georgie again says, David is Danny Gallivan and Andrew is Dave Hodge. Dave Hodge.
Danny Gallivan, he coined the term spinorama, I think, for this
pretty good. I know
Serge Servardian move.
Denny Savard.
I hated the Montreal Canadiens. Really, 'cause they were just
Breathing
so good.
Sunshine, $10. Explanation why vaccine needs to be kept ultra cold, because the vaccines contain genetic materials that will break down otherwise under warmer temperatures, so they'll break down in our bloodstream. WTF? I have no idea. Bryce I know they have to freeze some of them, but will they break down? I mean, you'd have to source that for me. Bryce Talks gives us $10. Seems likely that JT threatened to exclude Dougie from the Great Reset, aka COVID bucks. If he didn't start drinking from the tainted chalice, Dougie started slurping like a pig at the trough. Which is why I don't understand why he was crapping all over them about the vaccine, because Trudeau has been so good to him.
I love our viewers, Andrew. Like the imagery there. I mean,
where's the guy who gives the poems? I haven't seen him today. Ricky Bobby, $10. Please search YouTube for Canada Post Refuse Service for not using mask. Please ignore my rights/law. I'm fighting very hard, but also feel alone in this. Well, you have us and the people in the chat.
I do.
And you can also go out to one of the protests, should you wish. What gives for $15? That Walmart lawsuit, look into it and you'll see it's true. That said, it wasn't for $1 million policies, rather 50,000 to 80,000. Perhaps it gave them a total of 1 million. Ray W for £5. What are your thoughts on Kanzuk? I mean, the reason, it seems like a cool thing to push, but I don't see, yes, I support trade deals with Canada, New Zealand, and Australia and the UK. The less we can be reliant on places like China and Saudi Arabia is good news for me. China first is my order, then Saudi Arabia is my second.
What do we get out of New Zealand? Like lamb?
They get their crappy prime minister who's just full of lockdowns. But she's a woman, so it's great. Alex, $5. Shout out, all women. RCMP shamelessly passing blame to traumatized woman for Nova Scotia killathon. What the F happened to Mounties? I don't know. Great movie with Mounties in it is Super Troopers 2.
I never got past part 1.
1 is great. At this point, Faust says, for $5, people who support lockdown and love seeing small businesses shut down don't want freedom but tyranny. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you. At this point, you're just not paying attention, and people I see them on social media, mock people who want their freedoms. Then go to China. Sorry to tell you. And we got another one just in. Reminder to push the store for your codes. It's a message from Efron. He needs to separate the super chats, and we can get to that right now. Let's bring up the store.
Well, thank you so much, Efron. Let's see what we got. Some of the new merchandise
new hats
we
today.
have. Wow! Look at that! Oh my goodness!
Go to the hats. Go to the new hats.
Beautiful. Make Canada great again. I think we own that trademark. Don't
Canada was never great.
Look at this beautiful merchandise. Oh my goodness. Lady Menzoid, if you're watching, that's what I want stuffed in my stocking on Christmas Eve.
That's not a metaphor, I promise. Rebel, the toque there, or the beanie, if you'd like, go up to the one that says Rebel. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I want the toque. It's getting cold now. I got to retire that Panama hat or whatever it's called. But look at this lovely merchandise. See it, and it's functional, folks. Those toques. They say a third of your body heat's lost through your head. Maybe that's fake news or junk science, but I'm going to believe it. If you want to keep your body heat in your head, get a Rebel News toque.
And
this
look
is
how
fantastic.
cool that guy is.
And folks, let me tell you, if you can put the promo code,
go to the purchase page.
10, right? That's MENZIES 10 or MENZIES if you're in the United States.
You just lost 3 orders there.
No, I love our American brothers and sisters, and let me tell you, folks. I mean, we have a contest going on. It's kind of like Glengarry Glen Ross.
It's exactly like that movie.
First prize, Cadillac Eldorado. Second prize, set of steak knives. Third prize, you're fired. let Little Menzoid's Christmas wish come true and have me win this contest. Please put in the Menzies 10 promo code. I'm the kind of guy that is deserving of a Cadillac Eldorado. Sheila Gunn Reid, she'd be delirious with a set of steak knives. She can cut her steaks with it. She's a hunter. She could go out and hunt a wolverine with one of those steak knives. So it's no big loss for her. And I will advocate that Andrew Says does not get fired, even though that's kind of the unofficial third place. But please, if you love me, if you have sympathy for me.
This is sad.
Do you want to make me beg? Okay, I'm begging. I'm begging you. Menzies 10 on the promo code. I need to win this contest.
It's more like Reservoir Dogs. You're bleeding in the backseat. It's going to take you 24 hours to die. The real code, Menzies 10, doesn't work. It actually adds $20 to your
No,
total.
it doesn't.
That's just what I'm hearing on the internet. The real code is Andrew10. Can we bring it back up? I'll even do an Alex Jones voice for you guys right now. We've got Patriots, we've got MAGA shirts, we've got guys in barbecue sweaters. You've got to get these hoodies. You've got to get the iodized toothpaste without iodine in it. They're trying to fluoride our water. Fluoridization is killing the frogs. Look at this guy's beard. He's a real patriot, David Menzies.
The merchandise, I am just over the moon at how beautiful it is and the political statements. But how soon are we away, Andrew, from selling food buckets? I mean,
what does that even mean? What's a food bucket?
Jim Baker for the apocalypse is selling food buckets, but I don't think it's pretty sad
Meal
times we live
replacements?
in, but we're not quite at the apocalypse. But it's basically, I don't know, petrified or preserved food in a bucket that will last for years and years to come. I can't imagine it's as good as the brisket at Adamson Barbecue.
I think the end is when we have Rebel News loaves of bread. I think that's... Let's get to
By the way, why
election
is your
fraud.
promo code with your first name and my promo code is with my surname? Is that the right promo code I've been saying?
See, you can't even
okay,
trust
then.
David Menzies to tell you the right thing, you guys.
Could you imagine, folks? That's what they would do to me in this office. They would give me the wrong...
Listen to this guy.
They would give me the wrong
you
promo
people.
code.
He probably hates French people like me just for being French.
I didn't even know you were from Chapados. That sounds like you're from south of the Rio Grande, brother.
Yeah, it's like a Spanish / See, I come from royalty, David. Spanish royalty from France. It's complicated history. Let's get to some election fraud, and then we'll close out with more super chats.
Okay.
So we've got the first one is the ballot boxes coming out from under the table in the middle of the night.
Jeez.
And it coordinates with the time where they dumped all the votes and magically Joe Biden allegedly took the lead. Now we're going to have the banner underneath our video of this claim is disputed. Do we have that video, Efron? Yeah, that's the simple security footage we can play. So I believe it's the top right. You can see them pulling stuff out. This is after they got rid of everybody.
Good God.
Oh, look, we just found. And then... so this is after they got rid of all the Republicans. And then if we go to the debunking of it, these debunks, David Menzies, they're so sad. And I can't believe that there's people who actually want to write these things. So the article that's a debunk of this says that they weren't pulling out briefcases, they were regular boxes. So it's not that this didn't happen. It's not that it's at a different time or anything. It's what you're seeing wasn't briefcases. And they weren't luggage bags. I think I told you the exact part to go down to there. I think it's in the second paragraph. Probably not that far. But anyways, what they're saying is that they didn't actually kick all these people out. They were just there to hand them off. And then it wasn't actually briefcases. It was regular ballots. There it is. Video. Yeah, so they're saying it's not suitcases. It was actually... just actual regular ballot boxes, David. So the pathetic semantics. And then if we can go to the other one quickly, which is the crazy USB handoff thing that happened. Now this was actually on a live stream from the Hill, and this woman, I think, had been live posting to Instagram or Twitter previously in the day about, which I don't think you're allowed to do, which is videotape the inside of all the ballot counting. Yeah. So as you can see, if you want to pull up that video, towards the end of their video on the Hill, you see this woman checking around to see if anyone's watching. This woman sitting down with the long hair here. And I'm a fan of these hairstyles that we've got in frame here. Braids, afros. So you're going to see her with her right hand pick up this USB stick. And now she's checking around. Oh, is anybody looking? Anybody looking? Guy with hands in his pockets. Oh. Now he's going to come over to cover her. And yes, they put this stuff up at the end. But if we stick with it, you're going to see her He's going to pretend to stretch and yawn, and then she's going to hand it to him.
Oh my God.
Right here with his left hand and there. And he's going to put this in his pocket. And nobody saw anything, you guys. Don't worry. We're just taking this out. And this woman sitting there just looks like she's like, I should probably say something. And then the last thing, David, we've got a debunk of that as well. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, for the article of the USB debunk, probably even dumber if we can get to that one, Efron, as well. It's right at the top here. Conspiracy theorists, of course, people just watching videos are conspiracy theorists, falsely claiming that a worker during the Georgia machine recount revealed fraud in the 2020 election. All it showed was an election worker performing a routine part of the process, according to election officials. So yes, technically, and back to me, Efron, technically handing off a USB to somebody is a regular part of the election process, you know. It just so happens we did it secretly, and we did the old movie theater move, David Menzies. Where are you? Right there. And then we handed off,
I scare easy.
And we handed off the USB. So nothing nefarious. So even if it isn't actual evidence of fraud, which it might not be, these fact checkers are so pathetic and desperate to discredit these things that they say in big letters, disproven or debunked. It was actually a regular box, not a briefcase. USB passing is a normal thing, says Guy X, who works for the Democrats. It's pathetic, David.
I can feel my blood pressure soaring as we speak.
That's you getting KFC for lunch.
The big crunch.
That's what I got.
Oh, okay. That'll be our farewell meal. Give me the electric chair afterwards. But the thing is, folks, it was about 3 weeks ago, our wonderful colleague, funny man Ben Bankus, he did a video. It was a parody of how these votes were being counted. Please check out that video. It was hilarious.
Can we show the China one quickly, Efron? If you can quickly.
But I can tell you, after I had my guffaws at that video, I almost felt like crying.
Guffaws?
Yeah, it's an ancient word. Anyways.
Ancient astronaut theorists believe.
The fact is, what Ben Bankus was demonstrating is basically it's less parody and it's more reality. You know, they say there's a separation of a razor-thin line between comedy and tragedy, and that really what comedy is tragedy multiplied by time. But Ben Bankus pulled off a little sketch in 3 minutes that was both comedy and tragedy at the same time. Please check it out.
Do we have time for that, Efron? It's only a minute long if you have it, great, because it's just hilarious.
Oh, a lot of super chats.
Okay.
Yeah, money comes first, brother.
Don't forget also, after this live stream, head on over to our channel, which you're already on, so just click the Rebel News logo. Kian Bexley, the real Kian Bexley.
The real Kian.
He's got a video about Rachel Notley's staff calling armed sheriffs on him for breaking social distancing. So this is the same place that years ago, I'm told, Sheila was kicked out of, and they had to sue over this and won.
Oh, you don't have to be told about it. We've got the video of the sheriff himself getting rid of our beloved she-devil from the legislature. And Kian, he's really a badass, isn't he, folks? You really need an armed sheriff to get Kian out. You got to see this video, folks. It's incredible.
So as soon as we're done here, head over to that. Do we have more than this super chat here? Efron, Don Mack, can you find out what the pastor in Prince Albert needs for his renovations? I'm going to try and reach out to contractors. That sounds like you should email kian.bexty@rebelnews.com because I don't think we would know. We're not the jet setters that Kian and Mocha are.
Yes, thank goodness.
And David Menzies will be happy to know that my show premieres tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m.
Yes, indeed. Andrew has his own show. It's not behind the paywall. It's for everyone to see. So, Andrew, it's called Andrew Says, which I've been told, folks, is a zillion times better than Simon Says. And it premieres tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Bring up the graphic, Efron, and I'll read super chats. How about that? $5 from C182OPR. Belgium shops were shut as a corona shock tactic. He's sending us an article that we can all see there. Joyful Heart, $50, which is quite a bit. Public health inspector dropped by my parish yesterday. In a 1,000 capacity church, we exceeded by 10 because of the priest in his sacristy, I don't know, caretaker in Hull and door person in Narthex. He doubts he will open for Christmas because of our disobedience. So what they're saying is that they went over the limit by 10 because of the church staff.
Now,
we got to keep going, David.
Oh, okay.
Keep it in mind. Tragic toy, $6 from all of us who are unable to attend protests due to fear or loss of livelihood. Thank you for our voices being heard. And I work for mainstream media. Message me and tell me which one.
Yeah.
$5 from MEDW. Why is Addison's barbecue shut down when I see people selling food on Facebook made at their residence? Why is this given a pass from the health authorities? Probably they don't know about it, but a better question, why are you buying food off of Facebook? That's all the time we have. Efron, do we have time for my picture? There it is, with Dave Rubin. I'm looking basically like how I look now. Dave Rubin is more handsome than me. We've got that. I just filmed, if you follow me on Instagram, at Andrew Does, with Will Witt. That is the Will Witt I just filmed with yesterday, so he'll be next week. But tomorrow at 2, David Menzies. Andrew says, thank you for everyone who helped me out with that. Shout out Nicole, shout out Efron, and shout out Justin for that.
Fantastic. And folks, I guess we've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. A special thank you to all the super chatters. You know, unlike the mainstream media, we don't get taxpayer funds to keep the business going, nor would we accept it if offered. And have a wonderful weekend. On Monday, Ezra Levant will be back in this chair. In the meantime, stay sane.
Coach's Corner, let's go. Go watch Keaton's video.